Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us today. I hope that the talks have been informative so far. My name's Calen. I'm a sales engineer here at DueDil. And what we're going to do today in this session is a very abbreviated version of something that we call MVP1. Now, the reason that we call this a minimum viable product and not a proof of concept is that the tools that you're going to see today can be operationalized in a matter of weeks or days if you so wish. The idea of today is to challenge the assumptions that some of the issues that we'll discuss are insurmountable or involve a large digital transformation project, and to plant the seed of belief that not only are they solvable, but the solutions can be implemented as soon as possible. I do want to mention this will be a little bit of a plug of DueDil products and the solutions that we provide. However, I have no doubt that most of you in the audience, if not all of you, will face some of the challenges that we'll discuss, if not several of the challenges. In this MVP, what we do is we take a sample of our clients' data and we show them the power of DueDil in these 4 business outcomes. So these are the 4 business outcomes that DueDil provides solutions in. Today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you specifically how we provided a solution for a utilities client in acquisition, by helping them understand what their ideal customer profile looks like, expansion, by generating their total addressable market, highlighting expansion opportunities through group structures and through other key indicators, and risk management by showing you what we identified as huge risks in their forecasted revenue in real time. And whilst I'll be doing this through the web application today, all of the information I've provided is available through the API and can be integrated into your systems with ease. So firstly, some context. This client provided us around 1,700 records that they identified as key accounts. So I wanted to highlight that in this session, we'll be using real data, producing real results in real time. No professional services, no coding, and no integration required. What we're going to do with this data, firstly, is we're going to upload this into DueDil's proprietary matching engine. And then this matching engine will cleanse and deduplicate the information provided, and we'll be able to generate some insights straight away. So I'm going to show you how to do that now. So this is the save list function, and we can start uploading here. Now, the upload is a very simple CSV file. This can come from your CRM or a SQL database if you have one. I've got this loaded here. And then we're going to select the matching criteria. So the information that was provided to us is company name and company number. So we've got the company name here. We've got the company number here. And then we're going to start matching right at the bottom. So unfortunately, as we've got a short session, I don't have time to wait for the matching to be done. So I have to Blue Peter this a little bit, and here's one that I made earlier. Right at the end of the session, I'll show you that the matching has completed. But just to go back very quickly, so as I've already done this earlier, I can tell you that we're going to get a fantastic match rate of around 83%. And this information has now been cleansed and deduplicated. So we can start to generate some insights off the back of it. Namely, the ideal customer profile and the total addressable market. So what we're going to do is we're going to select this view as report function in the top right hand.
What are the key reasons for not 100% match?
So some of the information that was provided to us we would classify as dirty data. So it would have trading as names, it would be government entities, or some of the information like sole traders. So within that, there was a lot of companies that were, a small percentage of companies which were trading as. So when our matching engine is trying to match up, it can't match the name as there are several other entities within that record. Does that answer the question? Excellent, excellent. So, within this report view, you'll be able to see distribution graphs and heat maps of various metrics, like turnover and age. What we're able to see here is companies which fit our client's ideal customer profile tended to be more established. As you can see, their age was tended to be, or their incorporation date tended to be 10 years ago or more. And the companies were most likely to fit within the industry keywords of manufacturing of some description. For those of you who are unfamiliar with what industry keywords is, it's DueDil generated using machine learning clustering algorithms. It's the most accurate way to identify what the nature of a business actually is. in comparison to SIC codes, there's far more granularity and a higher level of accuracy. So what we can do here is we can go through and click into industrial manufacturing, and that will highlight all of the companies within that list which fit the keywords of industrial manufacturing. So we'll give that a minute to load. And all of those companies are then listed there. So the last criteria that we have is location. So when we're looking at the locations, we're just going to zoom in a little bit here. We can see that the key regions for our client were in London, the Northwest, and the Northeast. That's where the largest concentration of their clients were. So we've managed to develop an ideal customer profile. Just to remind you, those classifications were, they tended to be established 10 years ago or more. They had industry keywords related to manufacturing, and the three most important regions were the Northwest, the Northeast, and London. What I'm going to do is I'm going to combine this with a policy called SECR, which is the Streamlined Energy Carbon Reporting Policy from the government. Essentially, what it meant was that there are certain companies of a certain size which have to report their carbon emissions. Now, our clients saw this as a huge opportunity, and the criteria for falling into SECR was a turnover of greater than 36 million and an employee number of more than 250. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go into the Find Companies tab within DueDil, and we're going to start to segment the economy using the categories which we identified earlier. So there's over 100 firmographics available on the left-hand side here, but I'm not going to go through all of them today. I'm just going to plug in the ones that we found out earlier. So incorporation date of more than 10 years ago, industry keywords of manufacturing. So, she needs to go here. So we've got industrial manufacturing. I'm just going to plug in the other manufacturing keywords. Just going to go ahead and click through. Then I'm going to add in the locations. So Northwest, Northeast, and London. Okay. And then we're going to add in those SECR criteria. So turnover of 36 million. And an employee size of 250 or more. So within about 2 minutes, we've been able to generate an ideal customer profile and a total addressable market, highlighting 634 companies which fit our criteria for our client. Are there any questions around how I've generated this list or some of the information that's been provided here? Okay. Okay, so next, back to the business outcomes, the expansion opportunities and risks within those accounts that were provided to us. So within this list, I can add columns, and I can start to look at things like statuses, and then I can see which companies are in administration, liquidation, or dissolved, etc. Now, this is how I've generated the insights that you're going to see here. So these are the expansion opportunities and risks associated with the accounts that were provided to us. Some of the risks that were highlighted were 31 companies, either in administration, liquidation, or already dissolved, and up to 5% of the clients that were provided to us were listed as high risk. Now, I don't know about you, but hopefully none of those 31 accounts were listed in next year's forecasted revenue. And in terms of expansion opportunities, there were companies which had seen 100% growth in their tangible assets, i.e. that they had new buildings, equipment, or machinery which would need a power supply, creating an opportunity for our client. And then finally, up to 50% of the clients that were listed in these accounts sat within a group structure. Many had subsidiaries. This means that there's going to be opportunity for growth in consolidating parent or domestic ultimate with the domestic ultimate parent within those accounts. So let's take a specific example of the expansion opportunities. So on the left-hand side, you can see the information that was provided to us, which was just the classification 46900 non-specialized wholesale trade. Just out of interest, a show of hands, who has come across this SIC code before in frustration? Just you at the back? I doubt it's just you. All right. What we've been able to surface here on the right-hand side, industry keywords related to wholesale bakery and bakery supplies. So this company, Calen Watters, they actually do provide wholesale bakery supplies. We were also able to surface all of their financials since their incorporation, including their turnover and their employee headcount. So 78 employees and a return of 70 million suggests a fantastic return on capital employed, which also suggests that there's probably some group financing going on. So let's take a look at that. So we can see here that Calen Watters do sit within a group structure, and we can see that their UK domestic ultimate parent is Brenntag UK Holdings. And if we open that up, what we can see is there's a number of subsidiaries that sit within that group, and a lot of those subsidiaries fit within our client's ICP perfectly, because they're involved in chemical manufacturing or manufacturing of some description. So our client, using their already stellar relationship, could consolidate with the group parent to reduce their spend on energy and also to increase the revenue for them. And finally, just as a little bit of a bonus points here, what I'm going to show you now is a suggested onboarding workflow that we provided to our client so that they could scale. And a lot of what we've spoken about today could be automated through these processes, and our client could then ensure that they have uniform, insightful, and reportable data in future. So, in summary, DueDil's able to generate insights within a click of a button in acquisition, onboarding, risk management, and expansion. And if you'd like to take part in an MVP like this, please come and see me, one of my colleagues. They're usually wearing a big DueDil t-shirt, like Jaman at the back there, and we'll be able to set that up for you. But before we move onto the workshop exercise, is there any questions around any of the information that I provided you today?
Just quickly, what you're doing in DueDil to improve the 80% match rate?
So, what can you do, or what are we doing?
A bit of both.
Okay, so great question. So the first element, what can you as a client do, is actually look at all of the information that you're going to provide to us and just check for trading as names, any government entities, any information that we can't actually handle. Now, our proprietary matching engine is actually essential to what we do. We use it internally to match our data sets together. So we're always looking at constantly improving both the match rate and the matching speed. This will allow us to bring on more data sets. So it's a continual improvement of that matching engine, which you'll feel on the customer side as well.
Yeah, 80% is a bit good industry rate from everybody I spoke to does that exercise. So that's about starting.
We'd suggest anywhere from 60 to 80% is that industry average match rate, but from what we've seen on the market, we tend to get about a 10% better match rate, because as I say, it is essential to what we do. Any other questions?
The opportunities and risks slide, if you can.
Yeah, of course.
Does it also show, or is it a capability to show the supply chain? Because we're talking about, if we talk about the risk and opportunities, it's almost fine, but if you have an element of, let's say, supply chain show here, where is the demand and supply is coming from? If you have any, let's say, issues in the whole supply chain, how do you know which node is being impacted? Or that transaction level is not?
So we don't actually surface any supply chain information, but we do have a few use cases where customers look at us for supply chain.
Because if you look at this in isolation from supply chain, and you're talking about a 100% growth, the example that you gave, but you really don't know if one of the supply node has a direct impact in one of these. So you kind of isolating the problem. You don't know if that's really 100% growth or not.
So we would suggest that there are ways of identifying that information. What we want to highlight is just the large or the high-level company information. This will give you more opportunity to research and find out some of that supply chain information that you're looking for. The idea of this is that we can then start to automate the early stages of you identifying what that group structure looks like, so you can identify those nodes and research that supply chain information.
Right, so basically the transactional information is not kind of shown here. That's what my question is.
No, we don't hold transaction data.
Thank you, Calen.